Pledge allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming to tonight's meeting on June 27th of the City of Sydney, the greatest city in the world. Welcome everybody, and to let you know, we are going to do this meeting by the Open Meetings Act. It's posted on the wall there. I'll even let you stand up and read it if you want while we're doing it. You got time. And so our first order of business, I'm sure everybody has perused through Lori's rendition of our meeting minutes from June 13th. Found no errors and was ready to make a motion.
I'll move.
Motion by Stroman,
Second.
second by Galloway.
Stroman,
Yes.
Galloway,
Abstain.
Sherman,
Yes?
Radcliffe,
Abstain.
Bonneberg.
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0 and 2 abstentions. All right, now we have a moment, or a agenda item. If anybody wants to come up and talk for a few minutes, tell us how great we are, or something else, we'll take any comments. If there's any. All right, that's gonna go fast. So, now I have a proclamation to read for this fabulous newspaper. City of Sydney, Nebraska Proclamation. Whereas in May 1873, the Sydney Sun-Telegraph, then called the Sydney Telegraph, was organized to promote and project the journalistic and the business interests of Cheyenne County and Sydney, Nebraska. And whereas in its first 100-year history, Sun-Telegraph served as a historian for the West and has remained a steadfast news organization in the Panhandle for 150 years and counting. Several members of the Sun-Telegraph have moved on to larger organizations and won several state and national journalism awards. Jurymen, reporters, and editors past and present with the Sun-Telegraph have served as influential members of the community, state, and Panhandle area. And whereas in its 150-year history, Sun-Telegraph has operated under 8 names throughout its history. Sydney Telegraph from May 1873 until April 30th, 1881. The Plain Dealer Telegraph from March 1st, 1881 until February 28th, 1885. The Sydney Telegraph from March 7th, 1885 until January 30th, 1930. The Telegraph from January 31st, 1913 until January 31st, 1930. The Telegraph News from February 4th, 1930 until February 9th, 1943. The Telegraph from February 12th, 1943 until June 1st, 1951. The Sydney Telegraph from June 5th, 1951 until May 1st, 2000. And currently the Sydney Sun-Telegraph from May 2nd, 2023. The Sun-Telegraph absorbed a number of other newspapers in the area throughout its history and remains a dedicated leader in preserving Cheyenne County and City of Sydney history. And whereas the Sun-Telegraph was the first draft of history for Cheyenne County and surrounding communities around Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, the Panhandle, and Wyobraska regions, the Sun-Telegraph has provided news coverage of local people, issues, events, schools, churches, civic organizations, businesses, communities, personal achievements, agriculture, and other milestones such as births, deaths, weddings, and more. And whereas the Sun-Telegraph has served well their role as the fourth estate, being the watchdog on all persons of authority, elected officials, and TA-supported entities that have served all taxpayers and citizens, promoting transparency and government responsibility. And whereas the Sun-Telegraph fostered local debate on issues at the local, state, and national levels, which serves as a foundation for our democracy and local government, such as Cheyenne County and the City of Sydney. And whereas the Sun-Telegraph continues to evolve by which content reaches expand audiences across platforms other than print, such as online, social media, and mobile devices. And whereas the Sun-Telegraph continues to be a strong contributor to the local and state economy, and whereas the Sun-Telegraph has achieved a significant milestone in this year, 2023, that being its 150th anniversary year, making it one of the oldest newspapers in Nebraska, as well as the first newspaper in Panhandle, and the first established business in Sidney. Now therefore, I, Brad Sherman, Mayor of the City of Sidney, in Nebraska, do hereby proclaim the week of May 2nd as Sidney Community Newspaper Week for the Sidney Sun-Telegraph in Cheyenne County, Nebraska, and I do hereby urge all citizens to read their local newspaper and recognize the important role the Sun-Telegraph has had in our communities. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the Great Seal of Sidney, Nebraska, to be affixed this 27th day of June in the year of our Lord 2023. There will be a test afterwards at all those dates. So, you want me to come down there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Nothing better than a photo op. Very much.
So I can find out quickly who the people are that have the photographic memories.
Yes.
The sticker that said, Brad, get up and give this to
Okay.
Lori leaves no stone unturned. Thank you. People thought I knew what I was doing. All right. So Tom would like to tell us about how we're going to get rid of all the mosquitoes in Sidney forever.
If only, if only. Thank you, Mayor, City Council, and City staff. Myself and Blake Bain are here tonight from the Parks Department to talk about our mosquito spraying program for 2023. It's already begun in terms of putting out larvicide, which we did in May. About mid-May, we put out briquettes in wet spots or low spots around Sidney that are breeding sites for mosquitoes, and so we hope to take an active approach that way to minimize our numbers. So our Parks Department budget goes both towards larvicide and adulticide spraying. The city is spraying to kill adult mosquitoes that may be carrying West Nile virus. The Culex tarsalis mosquito, which carries West Nile virus the best, is most common in the late summer. The city operates equipment that converts liquid pesticide into a very fine mist. This is called ultra-low volume spraying. We only need 1.5 ounces of product to treat the area the size of a football field. So it's very, very small amount we're putting out in the environment. The equipment is noisy when it operates, so you know we're coming. Our spray product is registered with the US EPA and is effective against mosquitoes that carry West Nile virus. People with extremely sensitive allergies or severe asthma, if they so wish, may contact the city office at 254-5300 and ask that their property be added to the no spray list. However, reducing mosquito populations will reduce the number of people that get sick or die from West Nile virus. Blake and I are both certified with the state of Nebraska in mosquito spraying application. And so we're going to start Sunday night, July 16th, and it'll typically be on Sunday nights. We'll spray from 7:30 to about 11:30. Just before sundown they get the most active, and so we want them out where they can drift through the mist or the mist can find them. If it's too windy, we won't be able to. If it's raining, we won't. But Sunday nights we've decided are the best. There's fewer barbecues. People are getting ready for Monday, so fewer people are out no ball games and that. We're not fighting community activities and breaking up neighborhood barbecues for the most part, so that's our mosquito program for this summer, just letting you know when we're getting started.
You can hear them coming.
Yes.
I mean, the mosquito sprayer.
Yes.
You can hear the mosquitoes.
There's mosquitoes too, yeah.
All right, any other questions?
Would Blake like to stand up, give a speech, maybe a few words?
I didn't prepare too much.
I just wanted you to have an opportunity.
Always an opportunity.
Cheat him out.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
All right, thank you, folks.
Look forward to
Thanks.
seeing you kill those things on Sundays. All right. So now Lance Julius would like to tell us how he's going to make the golf course safer from guys like me.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Here to talk about Mr. Tom Burnham has donated some land to the golf course. It's approximately 4,000 square feet off of number 2's tee box, our current tee box. He met with me last fall. He's been really wanting to donate it because he purchased that land from Doc Thayer originally when he came back from pharmacy school. And so we did a little talking. So myself and David, we got with Jay here and Tom's lawyer, and everything's all settled. We did pay for the survey for it because it was his donation. He is going to put a bench in honor of Doc, and then next year, might be late this fall, and then early next spring, it'll be Chris's retirement party. He just doesn't know it. We're going to build a Doc's Walk, where the new tee box is going to be down to the current car path, and that's the one request that Tom had for this, and so that's why we're doing it. You know, according to the USGA and the PGA that I'm a part of, it's recommended that we make some tiny or small improvements every 3 to 5 years, and this is a very good opportunity, you know, down there in the canyon. So we're just want to let you guys know about that, and really thank Tom for the donation. You know, it's only adding a total of 4 sprinkler heads, 2 for the new tee box, and then part of the deal with Tom was to put 2 more to keep the surrounding area behind number 1 green. He wants green grass, and then I'm going to put some wildflowers there this fall. So just want to let you guys know about that, and if you guys have any questions.
So where's the property? Is it right behind?
So you know where number 2 whites is when you're playing league? It's directly to your left.
Oh, okay.
You're not very happy with me moving that tee box back, are you?
No, I'm not. Right behind me.
But, so we did start some dirt work. Tom gave me some permission this fall, and we got a little dirt work, but we haven't done anything since. Paperwork's done now, so once everything's good here, we should start laying sod next week is the plan.
Nice.
So, and then be playable in a couple of weeks. Tom and his crew have helped. They've removed some trees because we had to remove a couple of trees off of Tom's property to have a visual tee shot, and it's going to add a visual effect to our golf course, and I think a lot of people are going to like it.
And it's probably a safety improvement.
Very big safety improvement. Where the current old white tee box is, it doesn't have any range of golfers from the reds to the white tee box. People are standing in the firing zone because 87% of people that golf slice the ball, and so moving them back about 50 yards, no one's going to get hit. So not only that, it's going to add that visual effect. And so.
When do you think that'll be completed?
So we got just a little bit of pipe to lay in the next week, and then we'll lay the sod next week. The tee box is roughly 2,100 square foot, so just over 3 pallets of sod. That should be done today and playable in 10 days this time of year. So let it grow in, mow it down.
Yeah.
Hoping for mid-July before the big goals before the hospital tournament on July 27th. So.
Okay.
And we still have some work to do as far as, you know, we have to have a public hearing and do the vote to actually accept the property. It won't take a lot of time, but we've got to do those things in order to make it official.
Does that require the 30-day remonstrance period?
No, that's for the sale. not
That's for the sale,
purchase.
okay.
Or acquisition. It's not.
It's not an
purchase.
acquisition,
It is an acquisition. We're
Okay.
acquiring it. So, yeah,
but that part's not required.
no, we don't
Okay.
have to do a remonstrance.
Okay.
So do you need any
So
motion?
tonight,
No.
there's no motion.
No motion,
Just
not
letting
yet.
you know
We'll,
that.
we'll see him again.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Well, heck
They
yeah.
like seeing them.
And we can get shirts like that at the clubhouse, is that
Betcha.
correct?
They're
Pro
flying,
shop?
flying off the shelves.
I've seen some really nice ones. That would also help you not get hit with a golf ball.
Yep.
Or it might get aimed at.
That's just rude people that would do something.
I got nothing, yeah.
We good?
Sounds good.
Nope, sounds good.
Let it go? All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Scott, there's a couple items in a row.
Interlocal agreement horrific, right? This first one is the 911 dispatch center interlocal agreement. As you know, we did this 2 years ago, and in that contract, for those of you who were on the council then, we had put a clause that we would address it or review it every 2 years because volume does change in counties. And especially since this year, we talked about this a little bit earlier, a couple months ago, that our transportation is no longer through there, so it did shake up the percentages of call volume for all three entities. This is an interlocal agreement between the Cheyenne County, the City of Sidney, and Dual County is also on here as well. And big changes this year, I guess, is mostly Dual County. We knew a couple of years ago that their percentage was probably a little more than the 6%, but we didn't have good call volume until we had this, couple of years to go through it, and they most definitely are. And so they have agreed, all these boards have already agreed that Dual County will go from 6% to 10%. And I have this wrong, I'm sorry, and here I put it reduces Cheyenne counties, but it doesn't. It increases Cheyenne counties from 32 to 35. It reduces ours from 61 to 55. So we would pay less, which is probably what we were kind of hoping for, since we will not be able to reimburse that money through our transportation through the state anymore for that service. So everybody did agree to this, and we met with the 911 committee, and I think everybody thinks this is fair. We will reevaluate it. We are leaving that clause in to reevaluate it again in 2 more years. I don't know that it'll change a whole lot from now to then, now that we have those transportation calls out of there, but it could. And so I think it's worth reevaluating every couple of years and getting those percentages of who is paying for what set in a correct fashion. So this will take care of us for another 2 years if the council so chooses to agree to continue the Communications Center Dispatch Service Agreement. Any questions?
Been through this.
Good by me.
We're saving money, so that's good, right? You like that?
Yeah. Always lead with that.
Yes, lead with our portion going down part, right?
6%.
You looking for a motion?
Yes, so we're looking for a motion to approve the Communications Center Dispatch Services Agreement. Mr. Bondegaard moves.
Second.
Galloway, I got that one out of the corner of my ear.
Stole his thunder.
Roll call, please.
Galloway?
Yes.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Bondegaard?
Yes.
Stroman?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0. Let's see if we can get you 2 for 2 here.
Now that we're talking about emergency services, it's a nice transition, right? This is the agreement between, it's to be an interlocal agreement between the county, the city of Sidney, and the Morrill County Community Hospital. And we talked about this a little bit in the last recent meetings. As you know, Regional West elected to terminate their relationship in the interlocal agreement that they had, that we had signed back in 2018 with us and with Cheyenne County. Honestly, at that point, that agreement only forced them, I should say, to give a 60-day notice, and that's what they gave. And so as of July 1st, we would have no emergency ambulances coming to get people if they needed one. So I kudos to the county commissioners for jumping on this right away and getting a bid out there. But when you're 30 days into it, now you only got 30 days to get this put together. And so everybody worked very hard. Jay, the county attorney, the Cheyenne County commissioners, and myself and city staff to try to get this all put together. There were 2 bids that came in. One was from an outfit in Lexington, and I'm probably going to get the name of that wrong. I can't remember what their name is, like Premier or something like that. Priority Services, what that one was. They wanted a whole ton of money. They wanted subsidies of $75,000 every quarter. So they wanted $300,000 a year in subsidies to do it, and we weren't even really sure what they were going to bring here for ambulances or whatnot. And Morrill County Community Hospital, what they're asking for is no subsidies. It'll be just like we've had, same deal we've had in the past, except for they are asking for the city and the county to split the cost of loaning them the money to get the 2 ambulances that are currently owned by Regional West. Those ambulances are 2016 and in 2019. I don't know what kinds. I guess I don't understand hospital ambulances that well, but I understand they are in good shape and will last through the term of the 5-year loan. So what they're wanting to do is they just did not have the money to upfront the purchase. There's 2 ambulances, one $100,000 each, and then there was approximately $39,000 in equipment. Now they do have the money for that. They said we'd probably swing the equipment to load up the ambulances or keep them supplied, but they would need our help to purchase of those 2 ambulances. So it would be $100,000 each, $100,000 for the county and $100,000 for the city, if the city council so agrees to this. So I know I'm probably leaving something out. This was kind of a quick process. So.
Yeah, it was, there was a lot of changes in this process. with
Yeah,
this
that
short
just
notice.
happened so fast, yeah. By the way, I'll go ahead and tell you this. We do have in this agreement, the new one, that you have to give a 6-month notice now to terminate. We don't want to put ourselves in this position again. So we did change that in the new agreement where it's a 6-month notice if you want to terminate the agreement, if any party. So hopefully we won't have to scramble like this again.
It's safe to say, I mean, even if this isn't an ideal situation, obviously the community can't go without ambulance
Right.
service. So it kind of is what it is. But that doesn't preclude the city and the county from pursuing other solutions down the
Yes.
road as we
Yes.
go. I think that would be expected in the public. That's something the public could expect us to continue to seek out and investigate.
This agreement does leave us room to take another look at it after 1 year. So, and make sure things are going well, you know, is it working for them, is it working for us? And we will revisit it at that point. But it does give Morrill County Community Hospital the first right to continue if they think things are going great without us, you know, just canceling with them.
Do we need a motion on that?
Well, I was waiting for questions,
Oh.
but if there's no more questions,
Yeah.
we certainly entertain the motion
Need
to
a-
approve this contract
Need
as
to
well.
have it like that. I move to.
All right, Mr. Stroman, motion.
Second.
Second, Michelle. All right, roll call, please.
Sherman?
Yes.
Radcliffe?
Yes.
Lundberg?
Yes.
Showman?
Yes.
Galloway?
Yes.
Fantastic. Motion passes 5-0. We now have a way to get our people to the hospital if they need to. This is nice. Hopefully nobody ever has to use it, right? All right, so now we have a little process that we have to go through as has happened from time to time over the last few years. We have a councilman that has to retire and go somewhere else and leave us, but before they leave, they've left a long history of helping out the community, from being a school teacher in the community, councilman several times from
Yeah.
2012
Yeah.
until now, mayor, the 50th mayor of the city of Sydney. I think I counted them last time. That's good. You know, when I first came to town, I talked Roger into believing that I could play softball to get onto his team. And even after they saw me play, they let me play for several years until Roger started missing Tuesday night softball games for council meetings. And I was like, this is just crazy. Why would somebody get on the council and miss softball meetings? But apparently, later on, he talked me into it, and it's been a great experience. And in payment for that, I talked him into working for me at Christmas and other various things, climbing up on rooftops and putting lights on the buildings. And I know there's a lot more other places. You know, we talked about this a couple meetings ago after state track. You know, clearly, not just from an educational standpoint, but from the athletes on that track team, and I know Roger's heart's in the sprints, and we could pull up his decades-old track records from Loop City and talk about all the way up to what he's done for the kids here. And if I'm not mistaken, 15 times we've lowered the 4x1 relay school record.
My goal was to break it when I moved here. That time is now 17th or 18th, 17th. So, a lot of good kids.
Fantastic. So, with that being said, I'm going to take a few minutes to see if anybody else wants to come up and talk about how wonderful Roger is.
Yeah, or complain. Or complain.
Well, we won't let them complain.
They can do that too.
I thought for sure there were some people.
No.
Just so we're clear, last meeting I announced that there is a surprise reception for Roger at the Elks after this. So if you guys want to keep him occupied until the meeting's over and then take him over there so he's surprised, that would be awesome. But I will allow Roger to say some words, and then I will make a nomination and go from there. But we'll just say
Well,
that.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, I remember calling Brad and saying, "Hey, what do you think about running for council?" "Well, you know, that might be a good idea. When do I got to do that by?" And I was like, "Well, today," because it was the deadline. And the only problem was he was in Minnesota, and so between him, me, and his wife, and a fax machine, we got him signed up, and very glad to have had you on the council. I guess I got involved because my philosophy always was, if you have an idea of how something can be better or how things should be better, that you should be willing to get involved. You know, the old saying that if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And I mean, it's real easy for people to complain and post things on social media or whatever, but if you truly are interested in making things better, you should be willing to offer a solution. And that's what I always tried to do, and tried to represent all voices in the community. You know, I've been in Sydney 31 years, and been in western Nebraska since I was 18. So, safe to say, this community and western Nebraska has more than left its mark on me, and for that I'm grateful. So I'd like to thank city staff, Sun Telegraph, KSID, News Channel Nebraska for all your coverage and attention to city events and city issues. You know, it's very, very much needed. Obviously, I would encourage anybody that's interested to get involved in your community, whether it's on a committee, city council, or just coming to meetings and voicing an opinion. Everybody has a right to be heard and should take advantage of that opportunity. I've had the opportunity to work with 3 different city managers, 3 different city clerks, and now 5 different mayors. So it's been an interesting run, and it's been fun. And probably about a dozen different council members. And I think everybody had something in common. They were very passionate about the community. So for that, I'm thankful. So I wish everybody luck. I would just finish by saying that there's a lot of good things that are in the works for Sydney that David and staff are working very hard on that I think are going to be big for the community coming up. I'm excited to see things play out, and thanks.
Thank you, Roger. Really appreciate it.
And I just want to say that I'm glad to have gotten to work with you the last 2 years that I've been the clerk and knowing you and from before. I mean, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah. It's been an honor and a pleasure to serve on council.
So for the next nomination, we can't have you vote.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Okay.
Well, this is Lori's and I plan, we're gonna lure him down here with this sign.
And I actually wanted to get him a Sydney Monopoly game, but he already has one.
Of course he does, he probably has two.
Yeah.
Does he know when he throws it when he's in?
Well, side note is, I think I made sure I had enough money from the staff party to outbid Lori to get it. So,
Well, awesome.
Can you see Denise in
see it all. See it all.
It's got a new old wear on it. I see Bert's photobombing me.
Rabbit ears, rabbit ears. Yeah.
Can we read the inscription?
Just, oh, we will keep the lights on. To be honest, I was afraid, knowing Lori was involved, that I was going to get a stack of boards and say, here, you can go build a pallet. From all the pallet projects I did over there. So, welcome surprise, thank you.
All right, so with that,
Scooch it, see,
Over the
roll
last-
back into it.
few days,
Looks
it was
great.
my great pleasure to interview several candidates that reached out to the city and expressed their concern on getting on the city council and wanting to throw their hat in the ring. I spent several hours. I wanted to make sure, some of them I knew, some of them I didn't. Wanted to find out, what their interests were and what their qualifications were. And I told every single one of them that, it's going to be a tough decision. Clearly you want to put somebody up here that cares and wants to do good and be financially responsible and do everything they can for this city that, everybody really appreciates whether you grew up here or moved here. Everybody that's here, I firmly believe, loves this city and what it stands for. So it was extremely difficult. I honestly feel that I met some really good candidates, and it was tough. It was difficult. And I promised every single one of them I'd call them either way. I've interviewed people for years, and after my first couple interviews, I talked to an HR specialist, and they said, "Oh, you never call them when they don't get the job." That's always a bad deal. But it was important for me to let every one of these people know that, just reaching out, putting your name out there, saying, "Hey, I want to step forward and doing something for this community." I owed them that responsibility. Lori wanted me to make sure I pitched to every one of them that there are openings on the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustments that they can also help out. Again, I called all 5 of them and fortunately was able to tell one of them that that I was going to nominate them at the meeting. And so I will tell you that the gentleman that I met with and nominated is from Crete, Illinois, went to college at Eastern Illinois, joined the Army, left the Army in Fort Carson, took a job at the corrections facility in Sterling, Colorado, and during that time while working there, coached the Marino high school football team for 7 years, 3 state championships in 3, 5, and 07, and currently works for the railroad. His wife Sandy was a probation officer here for 3 years, and now she has her own travel agency. So, with that being said, I would like to nominate Mr. Brock here. With that nomination, we need a vote. If you could do a roll call, please.
Ratcliffe?
Yes.
I'm going to back you up.
Please do.
You need a motion to accept your nomination,
Oh, yeah.
so first do that.
May I have a motion to accept my nomination?
I'll move.
Motion by Stroman, second
Second.
by Vondergaard. Roll call, please. That is exactly what Jay does for a living.
Nobody even mentioned.
Okay, now we'll start with Ratcliffe.
Yes.
You got it in.
Vonnegut,
Yes.
Stroman,
Yes.
Galloway,
Nope.
Galloway, that's the
See, I listen.
You did good.
I listen.
Sherman.
Yes.
Sit there long enough.
Well, fantastic. Brock, thank you very much. At this time, we have a fun little swearing-in ceremony. If you'd like to step up to the podium.
This will help you. You follow me, but at least you'll read it.
Which hasn't always happened for the record.
That's true.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm mean and make you do it just by memory.
Yeah.
No, we didn't
So
want to-
if I could have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, and then please state your name,
I, Brad Buckner Sr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Nebraska
and the Constitution of the State of Nebraska
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same.
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
That I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
and without mental reservation
and without mental reservation
or for the purpose of evasion.
or for the purpose of evasion,
And that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties
and I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties
of the position of City Council Member
of the position of City Council Member
according to the law and to the best of my ability.
according to the law and the best of my ability.
I do further swear
I do further swear
that I do not advocate,
that I do not advocate,
nor am I a member of any political party or organization that advocates
nor that I am a member of any political party or organization that advocates
the overthrow of the government of the United States
the overthrow of the government of the United States
or this state by force or violence.
of the state by force or violence.
And that during such time as I am in this position,
During such time that I am in this position,
I will not advocate
I will not advocate
nor become a member of any political party or organization that advocates
nor become any member of any political party or organization that advocates
the overthrow of the government of the United States
the overthrow of the government of the United States
or this state by force or
or
violence.
this state by force or violence.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Take a seat. Yes.
Get out of here.
Yeah, this is the part. You're gonna be great.
Oh, Lori, you can make sure you put in the notes that I didn't see him look down at that paper box. All right. So we have appointed a council position. And now we have the city manager report. Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm going to back up a little bit. Because we have a new city council member.
oh, we have another
to deal-
vote.
We do have another vote.
Thank you.
We need a vice mayor, otherwise we'll be going 30 days without, or I guess 15 days without a vice mayor. So we need to deal with that as well.
Okay, so do we have a nomination for vice mayor?
I would nominate Paul Stroman for vice mayor.
All right.
There's a motion. Nomination? All right,
Is there a second to that motion?
a second? Second.
I like this guy.
First opportunity to second. he'll second.
Making friends out of the gate. There we go.
All right, so the motion was by Radcliffe and the second by Bruckner. And a roll call, please.
Bonnegar,
Yes.
Stroman,
Yes?
Galloway,
I got to vote on that?
Not Galloway.
How's the view down there?
It's been tried before.
Buckner,
Yes.
Sherman,
Yes.
Radcliffe.
Yes.
Now, and just so you know, now we have 3 councilmen whose names all start with a B.
One of them's gonna be
You could make
harder than
Paul
the other.
I'm the odd man out.
No, and Lori and I went over this 7 times over the phone, and we almost got it right. There was a lot of moving parts there. This hasn't been done for a while, but thank everybody for sitting through and dealing with that with us. So now, we are ready for the city manager's report.
Yes. And that's why I didn't stand up earlier, I knew I had this in my notes. I also want to thank Roger Galloway for his time, and not only on city council, but I believe planning commission before city council. For I don't know how many years that you were there, and then
Housing authority.
and the housing authority as well, yes. As well as being an educator and an advocate for youth sports. So thank you so much for everything you've done for the community, Roger. And congratulate, Rob. I'm gonna try to get that right, okay. And I look forward to working with you. I'll reach out to you right away tomorrow. And I also want to say that I thought Downtown Sounds was really awesome. That was one of the biggest crowds I've seen in a long time. They're going very well. I look forward to the next one. The fireworks display will be July 3rd at approximately 9 p.m. So hopefully everybody enjoys that. And then one thing I wanted to mention, we will be having on July 17th, we have finally completed our master comp plan. It was a long time getting there, but we're done with it. And I want to first I want to thank all the committee that worked on it. Fantastic work, by the way. Thank you to everybody. I know some of them are in the room tonight. Lane, Marshall, Brad was on that committee as well. And what they're wanting to do now is do a joint meeting with the P&Z, much like we started out with a joint meeting. We're going to end it with a joint meeting with planning and zoning and then the city council. And this will be held at the, oh God, I don't know why I wrote NRD. This will be held in the basement of the Security First Bank. They've offered up, because we won't have enough space here for both those committees at 5:30 p.m. on July 17th. But I want to make sure that I'll have a quorum for that, which is the normal planning and zoning time. So is everybody, or at least a quorum, going to be able to make that? Because Laura will probably get that posted here soon.
Didn't bring your calendar with you?
What's the date on that again?
July 17th at 5:30 p.m., which is basically the normal planning and zoning commission.
Monday?
Yep. So,
Monday, July 17th, 5:30.
yep.
Okay. I can be there.
We tried a couple different places, but the one that came through was Security First Bank, so we'll go to their lower level. We have plenty of room. I tried to do NRD, but they have all yours there. That time of year, so. That's all I have.
Fantastic. Lori? Remember, I'm gonna let you ladies talk from now so reasonable. I'll let you talk before. I want you to offer your opinions. Tell us about the farmer's market, the first ever farmer's market in
It was
2023.
very successful.
Thank you for making me feel like that was a great idea. Jay?
Eloquently said.
I would just let the public know that the appointment that we had today was pursuant to the statute 32-568, parens 7. Since we're a city under the city manager form of government, a successor council member upon a vacancy will be elected at the next regular city election. So until then, you as the council appoint someone. They fulfill that position until we have a regular city election. To not do that, you would end up having to have a special election, which would cost the city thousands of dollars. So this position is filled until the next election term.
Thank you for doing that. Very cost or worthy of knowing that you know, we save a little money by doing it the way we've been doing it.
Yeah. It's required by statute.
Fantastic. Joe?
First, I'd like to thank Brock. Congratulations. Thank Roger. Congratulations on your retirement. And then I need you all to put on your calendar August 12th. That is the 6th annual Convent Hoses. Yep. Well, then I will give wrong information. Okay, so this will be so we've won 4 out of 5 years.
Yeah, 4-1. It'll be 4-1.
And so this year we'll make that another win this year. So, Kim's been a big guiding force in that. She would be able to tell you where all the proceeds for that would go. Part of it goes to
Night of Hope.
Night of Hope, and then
Last year we did Kennedy Raleigh. The previous year it was shared with the Top of the Top and for the firefighters ministry.
that's all I have.
Well, you know what, that's good. I appreciate that. It's good to hear you talk.
Yeah.
Autumn, any HR news? Lane, we didn't get to hear from you at all. You got to tell us something.
Softball's over. I congratulate Brock. I don't know if you know, it's now Brock and I have known each other for several years, so I'm working with Brock. Thank you for Brock for your years as well.
Marshall?
Congratulations, Roger. Thank you for your retirement. Brock, welcome to the service.
You want to say anything else, Kim?
Congratulations, Roger. Thanks for sticking up for the employees. Welcome, Brock.
Tom, anything else?
Nothing else, thanks to Roger and good luck to Brock.
Amanda, it's always a pleasure to see you towards the end of the meeting. Do you have anything you'd like to tell us?
I would like to echo everyone's sentiments and thank you, Roger, and thank you for after calling me by my actual name.
It's going to be a while till we get through this, but I'm willing to work with you.
Yeah, you have a cue card over here.
He did it without
I've got a chart right here.
Headshot, pictures,
Anybody who's
names.
interested, you still have a few days to sign up for the summer reading program at the library. You have until June 30th to sign up. We have kids, teens, and adults. So just because you're not a child doesn't mean you're not eligible to win prizes just for reading books. And for anybody who's been following my pet project at the library of our brand new seed library, we now have over 220 varieties of seeds available. You get 5 packets a week for free with your library card.
That's fantastic. Jeff?
Sir, first I would like to welcome Brock. It's nice to have a football guy and an Army guy all in one. And So the state of Kansas has completed their donation to the high school for their entrepreneur curriculum, which starts in September, and will culminate at the end of the semester with a scholarship program, which I had mentioned prior, is $5,000 first prize, $2,500 second prize, and $1,000 third prize. Amanda came into my office today and said the library needs 4 laptop computers. Even though you said my wife cannot have chickens in city limits, we are making the donation to the library for 4 laptop computers.
That's very nice. And I truly appreciate everyone for not ever forgiving me for any of my missteps. I appreciate that. And as Roger alluded to, Jeff is going to tell us lots of good news in the future. One of the perks of my job is I can get a little bit of heads up on what's coming on, and there's lots of people working together to get things done in Sydney, and Jeff is definitely bringing those people together, and we appreciate that. So looking forward to that. Anything else?
I just want to say thank you to Roger Galloway, because him and David took me to lunch my first day in Sydney, and when I saw that you could have lunch and buy a gun at the same time.
That is a valuable perk in this city. Brandon, anything you'd like to tell us?
Just want to welcome Brock to the council and thank you to Roger for all the years you've served.
I sound like a record here. Yeah, welcome, Roger.
Legally, you have to at this point.
Roger, thanks for your service you always had. Sydney, you were a great ambassador for Sydney. You were always had us first and foremost in your mind, so thanks for all your years.
Paul?
Same. Yeah.
Roger, thanks.
Ditto.
Thanks. Helped me out a lot when I first came on, so I appreciate that. You were the first person we went and had lunch and kind of sat me down and we went over everything, and I truly appreciate it. I think everybody obviously appreciates everything you've done for Sydney over the years, and wish you the best in your next phase. And Ron, welcome to the show, I guess.
All right, now it's your turn. You get to say whatever you want almost.
Almost.
And I don't know why we have to tell him.
Since I got to Sydney, I've been welcomed, my family's been welcomed. I can't say anything bad about where we have chosen to live and finish raising our children. I appreciate the honor. Thank you, Mary, for the selection. Thank you for the nominations. Thank you for all the welcomes. My wife and I, Sandra, truly appreciate this opportunity, and hopefully we'll continue to be an asset to this community. Roger, I didn't know you, but thank you.
You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, and like I said, I think everybody here is gonna, if they haven't already, feel the same I do about Brock, and do welcome you to the committee. Roger, again, I can't thank you enough. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. My softball career would have ended years ago, so I appreciate you dragging that on as long as you could. I think at one point I was the 3rd oldest softball player in Sydney, and it was quite an honor. But if anybody had 6:30 for the unders, I apologize. But as I've said hundreds of times, this is the greatest city in the world. I'm super proud to be the mayor of Sydney because I get to talk last and say everything that I want to say. Friday night, the weather was horrible. It was probably close to 11 o'clock. Power went out. My wife looks out the window and she says, well, people across the street, their lights are on. People over there, their lights are on. People over there, their lights are on. We just happened to be in the little spot that went through town. And I told my wife, I said, you know what? Just go to bed, they'll fix it. That's what they do. Went to bed, got up, had to change my clocks about an hour, so power was out about an hour from my estimation. I wouldn't have went outside, I just went back to sleep. So, you know, city employees that do that, working with electricity in the rain, I you know, but that's not how you want to do it, and they went out and did it and got it back up in an hour. So, you know, I want to make sure that we thank Mike and his team for that. Some of the fun stuff that's going on here, you can go to the Elks tonight, talk about how great Roger is. You can go to the Elks on Wednesday night and have burgers. You can go to the Elks on Sunday and have some of the tastiest bacon that has ever been made at our Sunday buffet. Peter Pan will be performed at the Elks. Oh, and I moved. It's like the 15th, 16th, and 17th, somewhere in there. And then the fair. I don't know if you've heard about it, but the fair is going to be pretty wicked awesome this year. They've got semi-trailers on every place you can come into town with the list of events to do. Tickets are on sale. And since Paul is shy and failed to mention it, I will do it for him.
Shy.
Paul owns business in town, a little side business. And at his liquor store, they are rounding up for wristbands for kids. They have done lots of different roundups, usually getting about $1,000. I go in there, every time I go in there, I make Molly tell me what they're at, and they were over $1,000 already last time. You know, I want to thank Paul for doing that, helping the community in that way.
We match up to 500, so we've been able to successfully raise, I think, over $1,500 so far for all of the child. We did CASA, and then we donated to Cool Kids Club. And this will be the third one that we've done. We truly appreciate all of the support the city's had for this, and I think it's great that people are donating to it because it's a fantastic cause. All of the causes so far have been fantastic. So.
Yeah, and then a great idea. I mean, just round up. The most it can cost you is 99 cents each time you go in there.
Exactly.
Do not forget to put your paint cans out before you go to bed tonight, so your lawn clippings get taken care of. What else? Joe did mention the guns and hoses. And I feel like there's one other thing I need to talk about. I kind of left Paul for last because, again, I'm going to say it at least 6 times a meeting. This is a fantastic city to live in when there is a charity, when there's something going on, when there's somebody in need. Everybody comes out and helps. I think it was, I forgot his last name, Brian, the state chamber director, was out here for a meeting. And he says he's been stopping in all these communities, and he had like 5 or 6 people. We had like 40 people at the Elks to talk about Sydney, and we had the Sentinel Missile Project down in the Security First building, and we had 40 or so people down there talking about how we were going to get ready for that. You know, that's what we do here. We make things happen, we work together, you know, the best part about a small town is everybody knows everybody, and we try our best to take care of everybody. So, that was the last thing I forgot to write down. We will not have a meeting prior to our celebration of the greatest idea in world history. For those of you that don't know, this country was once controlled by another country, and we didn't like the way that was going, so we started our own. And we believe in freedom, and there's a quote that guns, death, and God are what created the United States and made it what it is today. It, in my opinion, takes all 3 of those things, and a firm belief in all 3 of those things. because that's what made our country great, and that's what's going to continue to make our country great. And so, with that, please celebrate responsibly. If you happen to be around my house, technically don't most of the time, but try to be, know that people have dogs, know that people like to go to bed at a decent hour, and don't like stuff shot at their house. So, but lots of charities work on with these fireworks, and you're helping lots of different organizations by buying fireworks, even if you're buying them for other people or just lighting them off yourself, no matter how old you are. My wife always has an issue with this, but it is, again, my favorite holiday for a special reason. The same reason I love Sydney, I love this country, and I thank all of you for coming to the meeting tonight. You know I'm going to do it. And we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:31.